How is it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So I'm sure that many of you have heard the news. Today is an amazing day to be like a Spinosaurus lover or just to be a dinosaur lover in general. A brand new species of Spinosaurus has officially been described, which is truly exciting news because up until recently, we've only ever known about one. That's over a century of only having one species of Spinosaurus known to science, that being Spinosaurus aegypticus. Now, I'm sure that some of you are getting ready to type something along the lines of, what about Moroccoensis or something like that? There has been other species proposed in the past, but they have since been basically made synonymous with aegypticus, so they are not. There's no additional species. There's only ever been Aegypticus officially. This new species seems to be the first indisputable brand new second species of the genus, which of course is just huge news overall. The species has been named Spinosaurus mirabilis, and it was discovered in Niger, of course, located in Africa. This fellow would have lived 95 million years ago during the Cenomanian stage of the late Cretaceous period. And yeah, this guy does seem to be quite a bit distinct from Spinosaurus aegypticus, so I find it very unlikely that it's going to be looped in with the Aegypticus species like other proposed species have been in the past. Very awesomely, very beautifully, they have discovered skull material of this brand new Spinosaurus species, which offers a lot of insight about this species in general, and it allows them to compare it to Spinosaurus aegypticus and see how they differ from one another. Now, one of the biggest differences between the two species lies in the snout. The snout, it seems to be thinner on Spinosaurus mirabilis. You'll notice towards the base of the snout right there, it kind of like squares off and just gets a little bit more thin, as opposed to Spinosaurus aegypticus that has a little bit more of a broad snout, a little bit, wider, and a little bit more round, I suppose. So that is one way that these two do differ from each other. Another way would have to be with the elephant in the room, that gorgeous crest that Spinosaurus mirabilis has. I love outward structures like this, like crests and sails and feathers always are amazing things that Dinosauria has, and this is no different. The crest on Mirabilis is quite significant, quite a bit different from the crest that can be found on Aegypticus. Obviously, we have known that Spinosaurus aegypticus had a crest, but it was always a lot smaller. Of course, it would have been a little bit larger with keratin, because keratin would have layered it in life, but, not nearly on this level. Just the bony part of the crest of Spinosaurus mirabilis is incredibly tall. It's a very tall crest. In fact, it seems that this crest is the tallest crest of any non-avian dinosaur. So not only is it quite significant compared to the other Spinosaurus species, but it's quite significant compared to Dinosauria as a whole. The crest was about 20 inches in length and, of course, as I mentioned before, would have been layered in keratin. Now, the use of this crest, I'm sure, was likely for display purposes, signaling maybe to identify different members of the same species, or maybe as a sexual display tool sort of thing. And so I'm sure that it could have had some very interesting colors in life. And it really makes this brand new species stand apart from the rest of Spinosauridae in general, and again, just Dinosauria in general, given the fact that it seems to be the tallest. It really just is gorgeous, and I've stared at this like reconstruction of Spinosaurus mirabilis' skull for a while now, and I'm in awe. It's so cool to see just a brand new fossil that is very much a Spinosaurus. Like you can, if you just looked at that without looking at the details, you would expect it to be a Spinosaurus, but still so different to the point where it's like obviously it's very distinct from Spinosaurus aegypticus. It really is an amazing discovery. This discovery was made back in 2022 by Paul Sereno and his team. And it truly is just exciting, exciting stuff. Now, the paper also highlights quite a few other things. One of those is something that it highlights like the 3-point evolution phase that Spinosaurids went through, how they adapted to seemingly difficult environments and how they eventually kind of like fell off towards the end of their reign, showing that Spinosaurines were a bit more abundant towards the late Cretaceous. Like, I don't think we've really found any Baryonychines at that point, so they kind of like fell off at that point. And Another big thing is, of course, adding a little bit more fuel to the debate between the like a diving lifestyle for Spinosaurus and a more shore lifestyle of Spinosaurus. The debate basically is asking just how much time did Spinosaurus spend in water? There are many researchers out there who believe that Spinosaurus was a diving animal, just kind of like going into deeper waters, diving and then chasing down fish that way, while others don't really agree with that hypothesis and have proposed that Spinosaurus was better suited for sticking to shallower waters, which shallow for a Spinosaurus is definitely still pretty deep for us, but shallower waters, and just sticking to those and using its long neck and its long snout to snap fish out of the water. Well, Mirabilis does add some fuel to that fire, as it seems like after analysis was done on the fossils, it seems like it was found in an environment that was a little bit more inland, far away from deeper waters, which implies that, yeah, it probably wasn't spending most of its time in the water. It likely wasn't like a crocodile, being completely submerged all the time. Instead, it was probably just kind of like hanging around the river systems and just snatching fish out of the waters, similar to a giant heron. In fact, it likely did pretty decent on land, given the fact that, again, it was found a little bit more inland. I do think that that debate will continue as time goes on, but, this is another variable that we can apply to it. Of course, we don't know for sure. Things can go either way in the future, and we could discover something that maybe supports a more aquatic lifestyle. But as it currently stands, it seems likely that Spinosaurus was not. It didn't swim too frequently. It likely just spent most of its time on the shores or in shallow waters catching fish that way. And that's just what seems to be most supported right now. But again, we need more data. Spinosaurus is like sparsely known still. I'm sure there's still many more things that we need to learn. But again, this is very helpful because it helps further that conversation, I suppose. And yeah, I am so incredibly happy about this discovery. I love just having new things added to our understanding of this genus that now officially has two species. I am so, 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 so incredibly happy about that. Now I can't wait until they start making some Spinosaurus mirabilis figures. I want some figures that have a tall crest on it, That's what I want. I think that would look absolutely gorgeous. And of course, some of the art that has been tied to the release of this paper is absolutely beautiful. And it feels like it really captures the animal as it likely was in life. So yeah, those are some of my key takeaways of this recent development. As you can probably guess, I'm very, very happy about it. You don't have to guess that because I think I said it quite a bit. But I hope that we learn more about Mirabilis in the future. I hope that we learn more about Spinosaurus in the future. It seems likely that there's going to be new developments in the future. I think there were some things that were hinted at in this paper alone. So I'm sure that we still have, like, this is just the beginning, essentially. But that's pretty much all I have for this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and have an awesome day.